Hello everybody and welcome to my new channel, GenOneDad. So this is the inaugural video and today we're going to talk about Pokemon cards. So I'm going to break it up in 3 sections. I'll let you guys fast forward if you don't want to do the first 2, but I'm going to introduce myself a little bit and how this channel came to be. I'm going to talk a little bit about the first 150 Pokemon and their card debuts. And yes, it's 150. We'll talk about 151 later. But then we'll get to the fun part and we're going to actually look at my collection and talk about some of the goals that I am trying to accomplish. So, part 1, a little bit about me. I was born in the 80s, so I had the privilege of growing up in the 90s, where we had the explosion in video games. A lot of those card games came out, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And I wasn't in Magic the Gathering at the time. I like it now. So unfortunately no Black Lotus for me. But I was into Pokemon. And I was more of the collector. I actually didn't trade very much with my friends. Very little. Disclaimer, I have a few fakes in my collection, unfortunately. Growing up in West Texas, there was a lot of bootleg cards out there. I got stiffed, and basically that's kind of why I didn't trade with a lot of people. So there are some cards I need to go chase. It's not that many, but in order to complete original card sets. But we'll talk more about that in a second. But essentially, like any other kid, right? After a few years, I kind of got out of the card collecting. But I will say for an 8 to 10 year old, I was pretty good about putting them in a binder and not taking them out and that kind of stuff. So some of the cards are in pretty decent condition. Some of them are not. And we'll actually examine them one by one as I switch them over to a new binder. But I took a hiatus. I didn't get really introduced back into card games until about 2013. I got into Magic the Gathering. So that would have been around the time I know Siege Rhino was very big. I probably played all the way up through, I can't remember the order, but Battle for Zendikar or Amonkhet or something like that. I think the last standard deck I played was Mono Black Zombies. So for those of you who are Magic players, that gives you kind of a time frame of how long I played. Then I went on another hiatus. And I should mention, so I'm a father of 3. I have a 12-year-old son who will be making appearances on this channel quite frequently. He's actually the reason I'm back into card games. But when he was getting to Pokemon, he got a few packs, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to be the cool dad. I'm going to show him my old Pokemon card collection. So I busted out the old binder. Like I said, we'll talk about the collection and what's missing and what I'm trying to strive for. But within 10 seconds of handing the binder to my son, he immediately dropped it.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
And so some of the cards fell out. So at that time, I didn't really understand how valuable some of those cards were, but I did put them back in and put the binder back in storage in my closet, and it has pretty much been there ever since. And so my son he's grown his collection. He's still learning how to take care of his cards. He loves trading. He doesn't understand trade value. I guess neither did I at his age, so I can't really blame him on that. But I'm going to try to help him, right? I'm called GenOneDad because I'm the first generation to do this. My dad didn't do this kind of stuff, so I kind of learned through trial and error. So maybe I can help my son in his journey. But like I said, I think the first place to start is here with going through my original collection, talking just very bluntly about what is missing, which cards I found to be fake, and we'll talk about what it is that I want to do. So moving into the second phase of this video, let's talk about those original Pokemon. Now, I'm not a Pokemon expert, so some of you who may be watching this, maybe you guys are avid collectors and you know this stuff already. But just know I found it fascinating to kind of go back and kind of learn about some of those first few sets that came out. And I welcome constructive criticism. I welcome anybody's insight on knowledge that I don't have. But maybe some of you out there are just trying to relive your childhood like I was, want to look at the card and see what kind of collection I had, and maybe you'll learn a little bit like I did about those original sets. So when talking about the original 150 Pokemon, we'll talk about Mew in a little bit. there's really 4 sets that I'm thinking about. I know if you really go look at what is the first generation of Pokemon sets, it includes Team Rocket, and it also includes, I think there's like a promo set or something like that. I'm excluding those for right now, just for the time being. I'm focused on the first 4, and the first one is called Base Set. Now, another disclaimer, I don't have the first editions. That is, I know, it is a huge bummer. For those who are unaware, that very first print, really most of the sets at the beginning, there is a stamp on the right, which indicates the set in the middle. The base set does not have a icon or anything. Then there's a symbol on the left-hand side of the middle of the card, and it says first edition if it was among those first printed cards. So basically, in the United States, Japan did their release, and then the United States, I think in 1998, did their first set of Pokemon, the base set. And so they ran a first edition, but they didn't really make that much when you think about how much they produce today. They just really didn't know if it was going to be popular or not, but lo and behold, it was. So they basically did a reprinting of that base set, and they just call that Unlimited. There are no icons on the right hand side or the left hand side. Hopefully I'm displaying examples to kind of make more sense there. So almost all of my base set cards are Unlimited. I think I have one first edition, and I don't know if you can really consider it that, but we'll talk about it. So that's the first one. And what I didn't know, so in that first base set, it's not that they just printed all 150 Pokemon. There's really only a handful of Pokemon that they printed. I don't know the exact number. I'm going to say something like 60 or 62 or something like that. But there's just some random sampling of Pokemon, and that is the very first time we see artwork for some of these Pokemon. Now, the second set is called Jungle, and it's denoted by the symbol that I'm putting up on the screen now. So Jungle, I believe it had some of the original base set Pokemon reprinted. Now it's Jungle. So those cards, I don't care about them as far as my collecting goal for this original set. I just want, for the most part, the original artwork and the first time that Pokemon appeared. So if it's the same artwork in base set and it is the same artwork in Jungle, then I just care about base set because that was the first time it came about. Now I do care about the holos. So in the base set, I think every card that was a holo in the base set is only a holo. They did not have a non-holo within that set. That started to change in Jungle, if I'm not mistaken, where there were some occasions where one card could be a holo and it could be a non-holo. But I didn't realize that not all the cards had a holo version. I genuinely thought every card there was a possibility of getting a holo, and there's not. There's only a handful. So I do want to collect every holo amongst these 4 sets that we're talking about. And but now I don't want to get the holo that's in the base set and the holo that's in the Jungle if it's the same thing. But in the Jungle set, they did introduce some new Pokemon to now be holo. So I want to collect those, even if I have the non-holo from the original set. And then that takes us to Fossil set, which gets a little different because there are similarities in the sense that some new Pokemon are now introduced. Some Pokemon are reprinted, and I don't care to have that reprinted card because it might have the same artwork. But this time, some Pokemon did get new artwork. And I think Raichu is probably... Yeah, I'm going to use Raichu as an example. So Raichu's in the first set. It's got a holo, and it's got artwork number 1. But then in the Fossil set, there is a new Raichu, and it has a different artwork to it. So because I'm talking about these first 4 sets, I am striving to get that second artwork if it's within those sets. I just don't care about duplicate artwork. I just want the original one. So in this case, I will try to get the secondary artwork if it got a new printing in Fossil. But same thing, some Pokemon got printed as holographics, so I definitely want to go for that. And that brings us to the final set that I'm discussing, Base Set 2. So from what I can understand, Base Set 2 was primarily a remake of the base set. I don't think every card got reprinted, but a vast majority of them did, if I'm not mistaken. But again, we got introduced to the last of the 150 Pokemon in Base Set 2. Some of them make their very first appearance in that set. But secondly, that's different in the base set too. The holos changed. So in those first 3 sets, base set, jungle, fossil, they have what I believe people call the galaxy holo, or maybe the starry holo, because it's got little star patterns on it. But in base set 2, now most of the artwork stayed the same, but they received a cosmos holo. So it's a bit different. It's more a little polka dots and bubbles everywhere, if you want to think of it that way. So I do want to get those. So that's kind of where we are at our journey. I do have a lot of them, but I'm missing quite a few as well, since this is a big project to take on, I'm pretty sure. And I hear it's not the best time to be going for some of the original Pokemon cards, because they're going up in prices. But as I mentioned, this is just the start of the channel. You're going to see the cards I have. We're going to move them into a new binder. Last disclaimer on how I'm doing this, because some people might think this is stupid or different than what you would want to do. But I am going to put all the cards into top loaders, because I bought a binder that fits top loaders. And I understand some of these cards are actually not worth more than just a couple of bucks, especially depending on the condition. But I want to be consistent, so I'm going to put every card in top loaders, and I'm going to organize it by Pokedex number. And so, because if I want Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur all together, I want the evolutionary line next to each other, and I want to have all the cards in the order that they appeared. So, again, going back to Raichu, because I believe there's 4 cards for Raichu. There's the Galaxy Holo and base set. And that's all there is. Pretty sure there's no non-holo printing. Then there is the non-holo fossil version. There's also the holo fossil version. And then finally in base set 2, there's that new Cosmos Raichu holo, which is the original artwork, but it's a different holo pattern. So I want to put them in that order. So you'll see 4 Raichus next to each other. There are a few cards that are like that. I believe Magneton also has a few printings that are worth putting out there. Zapdos as well, I believe. So that is the hunt that we're going to be on. If anybody wants to give me free cards, I won't be upset about it. But we will also do modern stuff. I am just getting into that journey. So like I think I mentioned earlier, I'm just now learning about illustration rares, special illustration rares, ultra rares, shinies, right? I'm just now getting into all of that stuff. It's a lot to take in after really not being into it for 25 years, 26 years. So I take any sort of feedback, advice, resources that you guys suggest, and I hope you enjoy this journey. And I look forward to being part of the community. But let's get to the fun part, and let's actually look at my collection.